Well, Valentine's Day is upon us, and I hope that you are all aware of that because that can be a very important day. Valentine's is marked by rituals that help express our love, whether it's to a romantic partner or a family member or a friend. Everything from a box of chocolates or flowers or a special dinner or even a card. It's intended to send a message beyond what words can capture. I hope you're ready for it. Hi, I'm John Kuert, pastor at Alpha Assembly in Clarion, Pennsylvania. Thanks for joining me once again for another heart to heart talk. And I hope and pray that this will give some thoughts and food for thought in your life, as especially today relates to love and caring and sharing with one another. Well, these rituals that we do with one another on Valentine's Day are like a special language that communicates feelings and emotions through activities and gestures. And like a traditional language, the fact that you speak it doesn't always mean that the other person is listening or understanding what you're trying to say. Someone shared a story that illustrated this point. They said about how a guy spent days planning a Valentine's dinner for his new girlfriend. They had a good time, but something didn't click. They didn't feel a strong connection until they hugged each other after the meal. And in this story, the boyfriend was showing affection with the dinner, but that wasn't how the girlfriend wanted to receive it. She preferred physical touch over acts of service, words of affection, or even gifts. And once this young man figured it all out, all the sparks flew, and they got married a few years later. Well, there are 5 languages of love, and Gary Chapman wrote a book called The 5 Love Languages. Let me say them real briefly to you, and you ought to get the book. And it's really a great book, and it helps us to understand these things that help us to communicate our love and our appreciation of others better. So first of all, there's words of affirmation. That's where you can encourage someone or appreciate them or empathize with them. It's just really listening. Then there's physical touch. Now, sometimes it doesn't require any verbal language or anything like that, but rather it's touching and it's body language, so to speak. A hug, a kiss, holding hands. That's physical touch. Then there's receiving gifts. Some people, they like to receive gifts, and when someone else is thoughtful to them and make them a priority to give them something meaningful that expresses their love, that really speaks to them. Then there's quality time. There are those that really are blessed by uninterrupted and focused conversations, one-on-one, when time is of the essence. And then the last is acts of service. That's where we really actually do something to help someone else. And those 5 love languages can relate not only to a romantic partner, but to anyone, to other Christians, to other believers. To show words of affirmation, physical touch, receiving gifts, quality time, acts of service. Now, I know we have to be careful with the other opposite sex sometimes, especially when it comes to physical touch, but sometimes it's just a little touch on the shoulder that, as you're talking to someone, that makes them feel, wow, they really understand what I'm going through. So the point is that each of us are different, and each of us speak a different love language. And so we need to study this and be aware of it because it really can be significant. Above all, I think that just if I had to narrow it down, it's really about listening to others, really empathizing with them, uh, allowing them to talk, and and just showing that you care. I think that's the greatest love language of all. And the Apostle Paul, he wrote that great definition of love in 1 Corinthians 13. And I won't take the time to read it, but you can read it in 1 Corinthians 13. In fact, you ought to do that tonight and before Valentine's Day. And that is, I think, the greatest definition of love in the world. And if we understand that and practice that with our partners, our husbands, our wives, our romantic partners, but with everyone, just really love the way the apostle defines it, we'd be a lot better off in this world. Well, I do hope you have a great Valentine's Day, and I plan to take my wife out to dinner. I think that she speaks all five languages of love, actually. But at any rate, God bless you. Thanks for joining me once again, and I hope that these little talks are meaningful to you. And if you'd like to hear more, come in person to Alpha Assembly there in Clarendon, Pennsylvania. Check us out on the website, alphaag.org, or you can come to our Facebook page. We'd be really glad to see you show up some Sunday at 10:30 for the morning service. In the meantime, God bless. Have a great day and have a great week. Bye-bye.